Hello and welcome to the Central Section Soccer Championships on PlayOnSports.com, live from McFarland High School in McFarland, California. I'm Brian Vilvin with Amanda McCord on PlayOnSports.com. Tonight's matchup features the number 2 seeded Sierra Pacific Golden Bears visiting the number 1 seeded McFarland Cougars. Sierra Pacific comes into tonight's Division 6 Valley Championship game with an overall record of 15-5-3, while the home team, McFarland, is 16-5-3. And Amanda, that's one of the things we talked about getting ready for this game was that one extra game for McFarland. That victory might have been the difference between the number 1 and 2 seed and why this game's being played here in McFarland rather than up in Hanford at Sierra Pacific.
Yeah, Coach Del Rey Diaz of Sierra Pacific told me before the game that that's actually kind of fueled a lot of their motivation for this game, is that extra game, like you said, really did affect the seeding, and it's why they're here and not at home. And he said that apparently the seeding was based just on wins and losses, not toughness of schedule. And he said that's something that he felt like his teams played tougher teams and proven themselves more, but that motivation is really going to feed them to come out here tonight. And they went to the Valley Championship last year. They lost in double overtime, which is, he said, was just like a stab to the heart, and he has the majority of his team are seniors. So they know what it's like to be at this level, and they say that this year it's going to be different, and that's been what they've been working towards all year.
Well, you talk about that being a motivation for Sierra Pacific. On the other side, McFarland, they are 0-6 all-time against Sierra Pacific. In fact, last season lost all of their matchups against the Golden Bears, so that on the McFarland side is motivation for them. This is their first ever championship appearance for the Valley title in the program's 15-year history. So this is a huge game for McFarland right here on their home field, and a big crowd's come out for this one. They're excited.
Yeah, and the coaches, the husband and wife duo for the McFarland Cougars, Alejandrina Campos Gutierrez and her husband Martin, who's the assistant coach. It's their second year with the program, and since they've joined the program, the team has just skyrocketed. Absolutely, just done so well. Or excuse me, their third year with the program. The juniors on this team now are their kind of class. They're their first class. The seniors on this team, their freshman year, they only won 5 games. 5 games their entire season, and now their senior season, they get to play for the championship. Quite the turnaround.
Yeah, a remarkable turnaround indeed for the McFarland Cougars. The Cougars in the home white uniforms with dark numbers, red trim on those black numbers on the white uniforms. The Sierra Pacific Golden Bears with the green uniforms, yellow numbers, and white trim. We are just about set. A 40-minute first half will be followed by a 40-minute second half, and if we need overtime, we'll go to it. But 2 halves, and we're underway. The Sierra Pacific Golden Bears win the opening kick. They will lose the ball out of bounds to McFarland, and we're underway. Far side kept in bounds. Sierra Pacific on the offensive. That's one of the things for this McFarland team. They like to attack and pressure you up front. They're going to have a little run here up the center of the field. That is Amelia Lopez, the sophomore, but one of the captains on this team. She loses the ball back to the Golden Bears, who will be fighting for it. The Sierra Pacific side, they think they've got team speed that sets them apart from their competition. So both teams going to look for a fast-paced game. McFarland with 5 goals in their 5-0 shutout victory in the semifinals.
Yeah, Coach Diaz of the Golden Bears said that he'd pit his 4 senior back line girls in a 4x100 relay against any other California back 4. Said they would beat him out every time. So that's something that the Cougars really are going to have to counteract this game, is the speed of that back line.
Yeah, that's pretty high praise coming from Coach Diaz. On the other side, Alejandrina Campos Gutierrez and Martin Campos Gutierrez, the coaches for the McFarland Cougars. And we said they want to press as we're a minute and a half underway here. Still no score from McFarland High School in the Division 6 Central Section Girls Soccer Championship match. Brian Vilvin and Amanda McCord. Megan Coffey, our videographer. on a beautiful night here in McFarland. It's a little bit cool, but perfect weather for playing out there.
Yeah, nice dry weather. The ball's going to run against the grass pretty well, and they're not going to have to worry about it. You know, with the wet, it slicks off in odd directions and kind of accentuates all the imperfections of the field. But when it's dry like this, it'll really go off the girls' foot like they want it to.
Well, on the McFarland side, they've only played one playoff match to come into the finals, as they had byes all the way to the semifinals. They scored 5 goals in that one game, but Sierra Pacific, had in their 2 games, the quarterfinals and the semifinals, they have not allowed a goal. Their goalkeeper, one of the best in the section. So I can't imagine we're going to see that many goals out of McFarland tonight, just with the quality of the goal play for Sierra Pacific.
I think Coach Diaz said that they'd only allowed about 15 goals the entire season.
That's unbelievable. That's right about a half a goal a game on the entire year, and that is very impressive stuff, as the Cougars looking to push the ball up the field, keeping the ball in the Sierra Pacific side. Nice sliding save there by Clarissa Valdivia, and she's going to lose it to a goal kick. 4 minutes underway here in the first half of the Central Section Girls Division 6 Soccer Championship. Live from McFarland High School, number 2 versus number 1. The Cougars looking to beat Sierra Pacific for the first time in program history. And if they do, it'll be their first championship as well.
Yeah, quite a way to get a first win over a long rival.
The ball inbounded by Sierra Pacific. The throw-in off of the head of one of the Cougar players. Far side, knocked away. Going to have a fight for the ball. Ariana Morales, the first one to get there for Sierra Pacific. Cleared away by Alexis Mello on the far side. Neither team really able to establish too much. Most of the game's been happening around midfield. Both teams have had a couple opportunities at runs, but nice defensive play on both sides has kept either team from really having a serious attack on the goal.
Yeah, a lot of kickball right now. No real possession by either team. Just seems kind of trying to clear the ball one way and hope that one of your teammates is going to be there.
May have a shot on the far side. Jessie Brazil. It's knocked out of bounds by Cassandra Lopez, but it'll stay on the side of the Golden Bears. Excuse me, the Golden Bears will keep it on the side of the Cougars here. Sierra Pacific will have a throw-in close to the McFarland goal. This will be the first real scoring opportunity. Head ball over the goal and off the target. Betsy Gonzalez, the goalkeeper, a junior for the McFarland Cougars. She's got that nice neon goalkeeper jersey. Pretty easy to spot her from anywhere. You can see her from Bakersfield. Near collision there around midfield, and the Golden Bears are going to try to push the tempo again here on this McFarland defense. Jasmine Wyatt pushing it forward. Now across, and we're going to have a shot on goal. Jessie Brazil, and it's saved. Nice job by Betsy Gonzalez going to her right side and coming up with a big save.
Ball goes out of bounds close to the Cougar, about midway between midfield and the Cougars. Cougars goal here. It's going to be Golden Bears again with the ball. Like you said, it's really just, it seems like now the Golden Bears are kind of starting to gain some footage. And for the McFarland team, one of the things they pride themselves on is their tempo, their aggression. So for the Golden Bears to establish this early in the game that they're going to be the ones setting the tempo is huge.
Well, yeah, a big factor here, and one of the things that might also build their confidence, although, you know, we talked about it, they were pretty confident coming in, thinking that all along that they might have been the better team, but McFarland's got something to prove here. They've got the number 1 seed. They've got to protect it here at home and a chance to win a championship in front of their fans, and this is a good chance right here to maybe change the tempo the other direction. Nice pass On the far side, Anna Ortega, the senior captain, gets it out to Lupita Chavez. Chavez nearly loses her footing on it. The ball's still going to be loose in front of the Sierra Pacific goal. Nearly a cross by Chavez. And it's going to go out of bounds off the head of one of the Golden Bears. That was knocked out of bounds by Jasmine Wyatt, and the Cougars will have a throw-in. McFarland in the white jerseys, black numbers. And we have a collision there. Anna Ortega lost her footing, but it's cleared away. Nicely done by Daisy Ramos coming up from her defense spot. Far side throw-in. Knocked out of bounds by Daisy Ramos. Ramos getting her foot on a couple of balls here early.
Long throw in here by the Golden Bears. Gets right into the goal box. Headed around for a little bit.
Knocked away. Nicely done there. Cleared out by Anna Ortega. But another scoring opportunity here for Sierra Pacific. Throw in on the far side. The ball's still loose in front of the goal, and it's cleared past the net. I don't believe anyone actually touched that, so I think it's going to be a goal kick for Gonzalez. But again, another scoring opportunity for Sierra Pacific, and they really are dictating the tempo early.
Yeah, I think that was one of those balls that goes through about 30 people, and somehow everyone's foot just kind of misses it.
The ball booted away by Gonzalez near midfield. Lupita Chavez trying to make a play on it. Instead, it's headed out of bounds. Off of Courtney Moore. And it's going to be Chavez on the throw-in here on the near side. She gets the ball in front of the Sierra Pacific goal. It's going to have to be cleared away there. And out of bounds once again for another throw-in for McFarland. McFarland going left to right. White jerseys, black numbers, red trim. Sierra Pacific in the green jerseys, yellow numbers, white trim. 10 minutes gone by here in the first half. 30 minutes left to play. Still no score for McFarland High School. Cleared forward. Daisy Ramos tried to get it up to Lupita Chavez once again, but Chavez unable to keep the footing on it. It's going to turn over to Sierra Pacific. The Golden Bears trying to use that foot speed. And I think we have an unintentional handball here called against the Cougars. Taylor Champlin will take the indirect kick from just in front of midfield. Put it toward the box. Ball still free out in front of the goal. It's going to be cleared away by the Cougars, but it's out of bounds, and it'll stay with Sierra Pacific. So again, the Golden Bears deep in McFarland territory.
Really dangerous spot here for McFarland. It's, I think, the third or fourth time already in the last couple minutes that the Bears have been this close to their goal.
Ball still loose out in front, and it's again going to have to be cleared away. This time it'll be cleared for a corner kick, so Sierra Pacific will have a chance to initiate the ball into play off their foot rather than on a throw-in. Far side of the field. That'll be Taylor Champlin again taking the corner kick. Nice ball crossed across the middle of the field and nearly put into the goal. Shot on goal by Courtney Moore off the target. Still no score. 28 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here in the first half of play in the Valley Championship, Division 6 Championship between the McFarland Cougars and the Sierra Pacific Golden Bears. Sierra Pacific clears it away. You see McFarland's trying to push the tempo every single time they get the ball, but they've had trouble controlling the long passes. Sierra Pacific's been a little bit more calculated in their attacks, not trying to push it up in one pass, but rather get it slowly up the field, and they've had some success with that.
Yeah, and that's where you see the speed of the back line of the Golden Bears really come into play.
Ball still free out in front of the goal, cleared away once again by McFarland. This is a very young McFarland team. They've got a ton of freshmen and sophomores on the team, a couple of juniors and seniors, but this is a young program that's going to be good for a long time, especially with the Campos Gutierrez family running the show. Ball still free across the middle, and again it's cleared away by McFarland. Right now the Cougars on the defense.
One of the things about McFarland High School is that they don't have a JV team. So one of the things the coaches were explaining before the game is that they want to keep all these girls because they don't want any of them to get discouraged from not playing soccer. So they have a 24-girl roster. It's
a lot of athletes, but a lot of talent as well on the McFarland side. A great year thus far, 16-5-3 on the season. Ball still loose out in front of the net, and it's going to be cleared away by the Cougars. Out of bounds, last touch, the officials say by Sierra Pacific. So McFarland will have a chance now to maybe set up the offense. Ball out of bounds, once again cleared by the Golden Bears, so McFarland will keep it. A long throw in there. Ball stolen away, still kind of loose, nobody really with possession until Sierra Pacific comes away with it. And it's cleared out of bounds. Last touch by Selena Canchola, one of the senior defenders for this McFarland team. 26 minutes and 15 seconds left to play here in the first half. Still no score in the Division 6 Central Section Championship game. I'm Brian Vilvin with Amanda McCord on PlayOnSports.com. We've got live coverage of all 12 Central Section Soccer Championship games that are happening today. One of them happened at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The other 11 are happening right now as that ball is thrown in and cleared out of bounds once again. It's going to be another corner kick for Sierra Pacific, but if you go to the Central Section website on PlayOnSports.com, you can access all 11 of the games that are happening right now. So pretty impressive coverage across the Central Valley here tonight. Corner kick. Taylor Champlin brings it in. Still free across the middle. Nobody touched it. McFarland trying to save it before it goes out of bounds and try to push the offensive the other way. Hannah Ortega nearly loses her footing on it. It's still free. And coming across, Daisy Ramos gets a foot on the ball. Champlin kicks it off of a Cougar player, and Sierra Pacific will once again have the ball. The Golden Bears have had a lot of opportunities, a lot of shots near the goal, but nothing in. That shot from distance just over the pole.
Only one shot on goal, in which it was Betsy Gonzalez made a fantastic save.
That's right. Jessie Brazil had that shot right in front of the goal. And Gonzalez went to the ground on the right-hand side and made a beautiful save. Got a whistle blown, and the Cougars will have a free kick just across midfield. Still no score. 24 minutes left to play here in the first half. Live from McFarland High School in McFarland, California, just north of Bakersfield. Sierra Pacific from Hanford, another about hour and a half north of here. The Cougars push the ball back across. Still trying to clear it away are the Golden Bears. And in the corner, it looked like that ball went out of bounds. It was last touched by Sierra Pacific. So McFarland, they're going to call that a goal kick. Excuse me, I missaw that one. Looked like it was going to be a great opportunity. McFarland was going to have a corner kick here, but instead the goal kick goes to Sierra Pacific and the Golden Bears. But now McFarland's playing in Sierra Pacific's territory. This is a good opportunity here if they can sneak a goal in there And, although it's been all Sierra Pacific so far, if McFarland takes that 1-0 lead, it's some added pressure on the visitors.
The pendulum has definitely started swinging back towards McFarland.
Well, again, this is a position that the Cougars have never been in before. They've never played for, let alone won, a Valley Championship. So a big stage for a young squad, and maybe they're starting to settle down now. It's a big crowd under the lights on a Friday night for a championship. Get those nerves out of the way early on and start setting the tempo yourself.
Yeah, it looks like the whole town is out here for this matchup.
Yeah, they're fired up. The boys from McFarland won the Valley Championship a year ago. But now the soccer girls, the last winter team left standing here in the Central section for McFarland High School. So it's a big deal. And a Friday night game under the lights, you got to come out.
Coach has said that has also added to a little bit of the motivation is, as always, wanting to beat the boys. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, you got to best the guys. Come on. Little intra-school competition is always nice, especially when both squads are having such success.
Yep.
That ball last touched by the Golden Bears. Instead, the officials will change the ruling there and give the ball to Sierra Pacific, or have a rethrow. Might have taken some liberties there. Anna Ortega with the throw. Excuse me, that is Cassandra Lopez with the throw-in. To Ortega, and then out of bounds off of Brazil.
Anna Ortega seems to be all over the field so far, though. It seems like she is, right where the throw-in is. She's right where the ball. Now she's doing the throw-in herself.
Well, you understand why there's a capital C next to her name and why her teammates look up to her, the senior captain of this McFarland Cougar team. Ball crossed, still open. Brazil's going to have a shot at it. Instead, loses it, and a save by Betsy Gonzalez. Coming in on the shot was Sarah Wolf, and Gonzalez said no thank you and swooped it up.
Yeah, that one didn't have quite the velocity that the first one did, but still, like you said, big stage, and that's where.
Taking a run is Lupita Chavez. Chavez loses the footing on it, kept alive nicely by Sierra Pacific, and they're going to try to push it the other way. Inbound, Ortega. Stolen away, but knocked back out of bounds by Amber Mendez. Still no score. 20 minutes left to play. We are midway through half number one. And it's been a hotly contested battle so far. The McFarland Cougars looking to get on the board here. Pushing the ball up the field, Amelia Lopez, the sophomore captain, a co-captain with Anna Ortega. Out of bounds, last touch by McFarland.
Like we said, McFarland's program is pretty young, especially their women's soccer program. But the programs, we touched on the boys soccer, but a lot of the programs have a lot of success here. So if you want to watch more of McFarland's matchups, like the one tonight, you should tell your school to sign for the Play On Sports School Broadcast Program. It allows schools to broadcast all of their games and other activities on our website. For more information, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
That school broadcast program is a pretty exciting program. You can cover all of your school's activities. It doesn't even have to be a sporting event. It can be recitals, talent shows, debates, anything. If you've got it going on at your school and you sign up for that school broadcast program, you can stream it live on playonsports.com. Where tonight in California, we are blanketing the Central section. Coverage of 12 Central section soccer matches today. A breakaway for Sierra Pacific. Shot on goal just over the crossbar.
Lucky break there,
wow.
Cougar country.
That was a breakaway one-on-one with Betsy Gonzalez. Trying to see who had that shot. She's a little bit shaken up after the play. Looked like she might have had a bit of a collision out in front of the goal with Gonzalez.
Yeah, just barely over the crossbar, like you said there. But even though it seems like McFarland's kind of move towards possessing the ball on the Sierra Pacific half, definitely the shots on goal, even just the shots in general, Golden Bears are completely controlling that right now.
But then you look at the scoreboard, and it's still 0-0.
The beauty of soccer.
Yeah, so really, McFarland has been on the defense so far, but they've been doing a nice job. Betsy Gonzalez with a couple of really nice saves. That time they dodged a bullet as well. But as long as they can keep Sierra Pacific off of that scoreboard, they've got the high-powered offense to get a lot of goals. If they can get one early, the Sierra Pacific team has won their last 2 games 1-0. And last year they lost in double overtime in the Valley Championship game. So they've been playing some tight contests as the unidentified player on the far side is being helped off the field. Hopefully she'll be all right and able to return. Not exactly sure. Trying to find a number on that. We'll get you updated as soon as we have a status update on the Golden Bear player. Jesse Brazil crosses. Swatted out of bounds. Last touch by the Golden Bears. Sierra Pacific only had a drive of about an hour and a half to get down here, so travel fatigue probably not a huge factor in this one. But obviously advantage goes to McFarland playing on their home field. A field that they're very used to. The first matchup between these two teams this year. The ball is pushed forward, knocked out of bounds by Courtney Moore. And if Moore hadn't knocked it out of bounds, it might have been Lupita Chavez taking it up the field. There's only one defender between Chavez and the goal, so nicely done by Courtney Moore to stop that threat before it really was able to get moving. In front of the goal, McFarland trying to get something going. Instead, it's cleared away by Sierra Pacific. Right around midfield. Looks like McFarland's only got 3 or 4 girls going up to attack, and the rest of the team staying back on D, and a lot of that probably has to do with the speed of this Sierra Pacific team. So it's kind of been tough on the Cougars getting it down toward the goal as Chavez with a nice push up the right-hand side, making a run, going to try to get across here. She is able to cross it. The officials call a foul on Lupita Chavez to the dismay of the McFarland fans. They thought there was a penalty the other way inside the box. It would have been a goal kick or a free penalty kick, excuse me.
Yeah, brutal timing on that penalty for McFarland.
15 minutes left here in the first half. That ball scudded nearly out of bounds but kept alive. Crossed by Cassandra Lopez and picked up harmlessly by the goaltender for the Sierra Pacific Golden Bears. Blasted forward by that big left foot all the way out to midfield. Nobody touched that one. Nobody wanted to get their head in front of that missile as it's knocked out of bounds by Lopez. Back to Sierra Pacific. 14:43 left to play here in the first half. Still no score in the Division 6 Central Section Girls Soccer Championship. Sarah Wolf on the throw-in. And the ball will go back to McFarland. You see the speed of Lupita Chavez, number 8 for the McFarland Cougars. She's flying all over the place, and she wants that ball to get initiated. She's trying to push the tempo and catch Sierra Pacific off guard. Free ball far side. Kept alive by McFarland. That's Jasmine Rivera on the far side trying to get across. She does cross it, but it's knocked away by Taylor Champlin out of the zone. So it looked like another potential opportunity for the McFarland offense. Ball inbounded. Far side. Inbounded. Throw in. Sierra Pacific trying to make a run on the right-hand side. crossed by Sarah Wolf. Out of bounds, and I believe the ball will stay with McFarland. It does. 13:15 left to play here in the first half. First half of two 40-minute halves here to determine the Central Section's Division VI girls soccer champion. Sierra Pacific, the runner-up in last year's championship game. McFarland in their first ever program championship. Cleared away nicely by Selena Canchola, a senior defender for the Cougars. Just inside 13 minutes left to play here in the first half. The Golden Bears have kept the ball in McFarland territory a majority of the first half, but they've got no goals to show for it. 2 shots on target, one just above the crossbar. But McFarland with 0 shots on goal. It's been a very defensive game for both sides here.
And the player that was helped off the field took a few limping steps over on the Sierra Pacific sideline. It's one of the Mendez sisters, but their bench is a little far away, so we're going to continue to try and figure out which one it was.
I think that's Ashley, because I believe that Amber just had a shot near the goal, so we'll assume until we hear otherwise that was Ashley Mendez. We hope Ashley's all right.
Yeah, took a few ginger steps on the sideline, but she is stretching it out over there, taking a little walk to test out that ankle or knee.
Marlena Miller furiously chasing after that ball, but it's picked up by Betsy Gonzalez, and Gonzalez again with a strong leg. Both of these goalkeepers with huge legs. Far side, Amelia Lopez, the sophomore, trying to push the tempo, trying to get across here, and she does toward the awaiting head of Lupita Chavez. Chavez unable to keep it near the center, but it'll be a throw-in for the Cougars. That was a very promising cross there for McFarland.
Yeah, and great positioning by Lupita Chavez.
Again, crossed here. Ball still free out in front of the goal. Picked up by the Cougars. A strong shot from distance and a penalty. The officials blow the whistle, and McFarland will have the ball in great territory here. That was Anna Ortega again. We've been calling her name all evening.
Yeah, she's doing awesome, really establishing a presence for this Cougars team. And like you said, she's a captain, she's a senior, definitely one of the leaders on this team. It sounds like both, emotionally, motivationally, and obviously we've seen her play is reflective of that.
We'll see Lupita Chavez attempting the free kick here. 10 minutes left to play in the first half. This is the best opportunity so far for the McFarland Cougars. Chavez, good look from distance off the crossbar. What a shot by Lupita Chavez. That one almost snuck in.
Wow, if that ball had been maybe an inch or two lower, that's all it would have needed. Not only was that bar right on the crossbar, but it was just above the fingertips of Sierra Pacific's goalkeeper, and she was up as high as she could have been, but there was still that tiny little gap between the crossbar and the top of her fingertips. And if Lupita Chavez had managed to bring it down even just 2 inches, we could be calling different play right now.
Wow, it would be 1-0, and that would have been a huge goal for the Cougars, but their best scoring opportunity yet, and maybe that's something that kick-starts this high-powered offense for McFarland High School. And they keep possession of the ball here. 8:50 left to play here in the first half. And a freshly energized McFarland Cougar team.
Definitely, and I think you were right. I think they really just kind of settled down after those first 10 minutes of, okay, Friday night, under the lights, a big crowd. It's a little overwhelming. Nerves are, the PA system was going off before the game, all that, and then they realized this is still a soccer game. No matter how big the stage, no matter who they're playing, it's a soccer game. And I think they really settled down and found their groove, and now it's Sierra Pacific who's back on their heels.
On the far side, that is Amelia Lopez. Lopez appeared to be limping a little bit around, and that would be a huge loss for McFarland, but there she goes running after that ball out of bounds. So what do I know? Glad to see that she's okay, though. One of the leaders of this team, although only a sophomore.
The girls on the bench for McFarland.
Ball crossed here, still open, but it's taken away by the goalkeeper for Sierra Pacific, who kicks it out across midfield to the awaiting forward.
Girls on the McFarland bench are turning around to their home crowd and getting them involved in their cheers as they cheer for each of the girls on the field.
Well, we've got a great turnout here. This near side of the bleachers almost completely full for McFarland. And a healthy contingent have made the trek down from Hanford for the Sierra Pacific side. The officials say that ball stays with Sierra Pacific, so Sarah Wolf will initiate the throw-in. Again, anytime the officials give a call to Sierra Pacific, they're hearing it from the dedicated McFarland fans. That's Lupita Chavez trying to get her head on that ball. Sarah Wolf ends up contacting it, and it's freed toward midfield by Jasmine Wyatt. Wyatt loses the footing on it. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Golden Bears. 6.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Ball inbounded, far side. Amelia Lopez. It's kind of been a tale of, in this first half, the first part and then the second part. The first part of the first half was dominated by the Golden Bears, and this time the last about 10 minutes or so has been dominated by McFarland. So we've seen that both of these teams can control the tempo of the game as McFarland pushes it up once again on the right-hand side.
Yeah, and McFarland, I feel like the last 10 minutes, the reason they've the reason they've started to take the momentum is because, like we said, they settled down, but also they're really working on their shape, that triangle shape that every soccer coach preaches as far as, you know, making sure you have two options for every single pass as opposed to the beginning of the game. And what you saw just there, they try to do the through ball. And one of the things we know about Sierra Pacific's back line is that they're really fast. So the chances of you beating them on a through ball, really slim.
So maybe a little change of the approach and slowing things down, which is what we saw Sierra Pacific having success with early on. Taking a page out of that book. The Golden Bears trying to get a push here. Far side, Marlena Miller kicks it out of bounds off of the Cougars. It'll be a throw-in on the far side of the field for Sierra Pacific. Yeah, hard to push a through ball when you've got some of the fastest girls in the state, according to Coach Diaz.
Yeah, definitely not the easiest thing to do. Although, like we've seen, McFarland has managed to possess the ball on the Golden Bears half for a good amount of the first half.
Ball still free out in front of the goal. The shot wide by Sierra Pacific. Never really threatened the goal there. And it'll be a goal kick for Betsy Gonzalez and the Cougars. 4.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. Still no score. But it's been exciting. There have been a lot of opportunities so far.
And the Cougar mascot makes an appearance at the game down at the far side of the field.
I like it.
Haven't seen him before. I'm not sure if he got the time wrong of the start or what it is, but hopefully now the girls on the bench can focus on supporting their teammates, and the Cougar can worry about getting the fans riled up.
Ball saved in the Sierra Pacific goal. The sign when you drive into McFarland is "Welcome to Cougar Country," and now we've got the proof right there.
Yeah, an endangered and vicious species from the looks of him.
And the crowd starting to notice the Cougars' arrival as we've got a bit of an injury here at midfield. I believe that was Jasmine Rivera, and she's able to get to her feet, stay in the ball game. A good sign for the McFarland Cougars. 3:20 left to play here in the first half. Still no score in the Division VI Girls Central Section Championship game. Nice sportsmanship there by McFarland to give the ball right back to Sierra Pacific after Sierra Pacific stopped the game for that injury timeout.
Yeah, this game has been physical, but it hasn't been chippy yet. And I think that, you know, really the last 10 minutes of the game, especially if the score is still tied, will tell the tale of whether or not it gets chippy or not. But it's good to see that at least it's starting out just good physical soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams playing tough, but like you say, not going overboard and taking cheap shots. Just both teams playing very solid and hard soccer. But we'll see as we inch closer toward the second half, and this game is still tight, still no score. 2.5 minutes left to play here in the first half. The ball sticking around midfield. Nice job there by Amelia Lopez. Fancy footwork there, but loses it to Sierra Pacific.
Yeah, and, you know, McFarland has won a lot of the one-on-one matchups against Sierra Pacific. They've done a really good job of when it is that one-on-one, you know, taking on the opposing player. It seems like McFarland normally comes out on top, but then, like you saw there, they just do that long ball and lose it again to the Golden Bears' speed.
Yeah, almost seemed like giving the ball back to them in a situation where you earn the ball. You should try to maybe slow down the pace a little bit. But it's tough when you got a team that likes to push the tempo to try to tell them to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Not an easy thing to do. The goal kick intercepted by the Golden Bears. Then they lose it again, but Sarah Wolf will come up with the loose soccer ball. Far sideline. Sierra Pacific still with control. Marlena Miller crosses it. Got a little bit of collision there, but it's taken away by Anna Ortega. Ortega trying to push the break the other direction, and it's cleared away. Nice job jumping in and clearing the ball away, Alexis Mello. That could have been trouble for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, anytime you have Anna Ortega and a breakaway in the same sentence, it's not good for the Golden Bears.
Well, it seems like every single time McFarland has the ball, Ortega's touching it at some point. But her on a breakaway, that's bad news for Sierra Pacific. As the Golden Bears clear it once again. We are under 2 minutes here in the first half, so the clock stops at that 2-minute mark, and the officials will determine when the first half is over. Basically stoppage time here. Ball free in front of the net, but it's cleared away nicely by the Golden Bears. Stolen back again by McFarland. Neither team really able to get a handle of it here in Sierra Pacific territory, and stolen away again by Anna Ortega. The official says that is it for the first half. No score, but it was a fun first half for sure.
Yeah, definitely an aggressive first half. Both teams, you know, like we said, McFarland kind of came in, took a minute to settle down, but now they've kind of, you know, gained a foothold here against Sierra Pacific, the team who's been here before, knows what it feels like, and also knows what it feels like to lose, and is using that motivation to spur them on to, you know, try and make something happen here. So half kind of ended with pretty equal dominance, I feel like.
Well, folks, that's the end of the first half of play with no score. The score is tied 0-0 between Sierra Pacific and McFarland. We'll be back in a few moments with the PlayOnSports.com halftime show. Don't go anywhere. It's the Central Section Soccer Championships on PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here. watching PlayOnSports.com's presentation of the Central Section Soccer Championships live from McFarland High School. I'm Brian Vilbin with Amanda McCord. There is no score as we head to the second half of the Central Section Division VI Girls Soccer Championship between the number 2 seeded Sierra Pacific Golden Bears and the number 1 seeded McFarland Cougars. And although we have no score after one half, it was a very exciting half. We had a lot of opportunities on both sides, but no one able to get inside the scorebook.
Yeah, very exciting, very aggressive. Both teams really showing that they want it. It looks like we had a false start here or something. I know it's a football call, but something happened where they had to start over, so we're going to call it a false start. And but like you said, really McFarland settling in after the first couple minutes of the half. Sierra Pacific showing their speed throughout the entire half, and it's anyone's game at this point. And a lot of coaches love the mantra of, at halftime, regardless of the score, oh, it's 0-0, starts all over again.
Yep.
But right now it really is 0-0 again.
Is.
It's just a much shorter game, so 40 minutes to see who comes out on top.
Well, it's exciting to have 40 minutes that will determine a champion. If we get closer to the end of the game and it looks like there may be overtime, we'll go over all the overtime rules here in the Central Section, and there are a number of them. So we'll go over that if it seems like it may be appropriate, but for right now, we'll just continue with the action here on the field with 39 minutes left to play here in the second half. Just a minute underway here in the second. Still no score. 0-0 between Sierra Pacific and McFarland. Again, Sierra Pacific, if you're just joining us, they lost in last year's Valley Championship game in double overtime. The McFarland Cougars have never played for a championship. It's the 15th year of the program, and the girls that are seniors now had just 4 wins their freshman year. No JV team here, so everybody plays varsity from freshman year on. And now they've got 16 wins and a chance to make number 17 the Valley Championship. So a huge moment here at home in front of a big crowd on a Friday night, and a chance to bring home their school's first ever section title.
A big crowd and a Cougar mascot.
Gotta like that Cougar.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ball crossed here, a good opportunity for McFarland, but instead it's cleared away by Sierra Pacific. It's going to stay in the Sierra Pacific zone, though, as McFarland will have a throw-in from the far sideline. Two minutes gone by here in the second half. Ball still free in front of the net, cleared across and picked up by the goalkeeper for Sierra Pacific.
A powerful header there, though, by McFarland. Almost, it was targeted on goal. I don't know if you would count it as a shot because of the header.
Yeah.
But
it was picked up by the goalkeeper in front of the goal, so. And it was a scoring opportunity. It's been back and forth. Both of these teams have played. It's actually been a really even soccer match so far.
Yeah, really fun to watch all these girls fight on the field, and you can really just tell how much each of them want it. Don't forget, though, to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Brian, Megan, and I are all quite social media savvy.
That's right.
Play on Sports is on Facebook and Twitter, giving you news and information and links to great highlights. Follow us on Play on Sports on both Facebook and Twitter. You can also access thousands of live and on-demand games on YouTube at youtube.com/playonnetwork. Keep up with all the high school action every single week from your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
Megan Coffey, our videographer. That was Amanda McCord. And I'm Brian Vilvin. Three of us are bringing you the action from McFarland High School in the Division VI Central Section Championship girls soccer final here, as the Sierra Pacific Golden Bears will have a free kick going into McFarland territory. Ball crossed nicely there. It's going to be picked up by Betsy Gonzalez, who will clear it away. Alexis Mello taking that free kick for the Golden Bears.
Dangerous opportunity for the Golden Bears against McFarland, not only because they had that kick so close to the goal, but also because I believe it was Anna Ortega's deflection actually caused the ball to go faster towards the goal line. So goalkeeper had to make a pretty brilliant save there against the ball just going out and saving a corner kick.
And with a little bit of spin on it, too, makes it even tougher on Betsy Gonzalez. Jasmine Rivera will inbound it for the Cougars. And she ripped it pretty hard toward Lupita Chavez. They were unable to keep the handle on it. And it's cleared back up by Daisy Ramos, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Jasmine Wyatt and the Golden Bears. So right around midfield, McFarland will have the ball. 5 minutes gone by here in the second half. 35 left to play, still no score. Will one goal be enough? We will find out.
It's definitely a good place to start.
Yeah, somebody's got to get something on the board here. Throw in for the Golden Bears, far side, or near side, excuse me. Knocked out of bounds. Sierra Pacific in the green jerseys with yellow numbers and white trim. The McFarland Cougars with the white jerseys, black numbering, red trim. 34.5 minutes left to play here in the second half.
The McFarland team also all has some very cool teal cleats.
Yeah, those are awesome. I noticed those as well down on the field.
Most of the time I feel like if a team has uniform cleats, they're black. But this is
black
a
cleats,
nice change of pace.
Yeah, I like the teal blue out there.
Yeah.
Something that you don't see, especially in McFarland's colors are black and red.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd think they would be natural to have the black cleats, but the teal with a little bit of orange, I like that. Good call. Both of our jackets have a little bit of that teal in it too. It's a good color.
Yeah, we always call and coordinate outfits before the game.
Exactly, you got to.
Look official and everything.
Ball inbounded on the far side by Sierra Pacific with the throw-in. And it takes a high bounce. Betsy Gonzalez let that one come to her instead of going out and getting it. And it was nearly costly, but Gonzalez doing a nice job hanging on to it. The ball is loose around midfield. Cleared by the Golden Bears. 33 minutes left to play here in the second half. The ball will be thrown in by Jasmine Rivera. Rivera, a junior defender for the McFarland Cougars. That one went off of Amelia Lopez. And it's thrown in by Marlena Miller for Sierra Pacific. A long shot toward target. Picked up easily by Betsy Gonzalez. No threat there.
Yeah, I don't know if we've been over this already, but if we have, it's a point bringing up again, is that for Sierra Pacific, they're a very experienced team.
Yep.
You know, we've said that the entire time. They have all of their players are seniors except their two forwards.
And the McFarland team on the other side is extremely young.
Mm-hmm. Has never been to the championship before. You know, it's quite the compliment to the Campos Gutierrez coaching combination,
yep,
that they've brought the team so far in such a short amount of time.
24 players on the McFarland roster, only 4 seniors in that group. So to be here is a huge compliment. Taking up the left-hand side, Lupita Chavez crosses it, and it's picked up there. Cleared away toward midfield. Ball being pushed forward, knocked out of bounds by the Cougars. So Sierra Pacific will have it just past midfield. 31.5 minutes left to play here in the second half. Some noisemakers coming from the McFarland sideline. A lot of fans in attendance here. We got a run here on the right-hand side. Lupita Chavez trying to get a cross and instead loses the handle out of bounds. She had Luz Vega there with her, and they tried to get something going, but instead lost the footing. Another good opportunity, though, for the McFarland Cougars.
Definitely, and we touched on this in the first half, too, is that they're most successful when they settle down, slow down the play, because even though the whole season they've been really successful pushing the tempo and kind of controlling the pace of the game. This Sierra Pacific team, they haven't faced all year. They don't know the speed of their back line, or they didn't know it before tonight.
Yep.
Now they know it, and now they know it, and it's not something that they can easily contend with.
Yeah, it's one thing to know coming in that you're going to be facing it, but it's another to actually see it out on the field, and then you have to adjust. But they've done a nice job adjusting to it at times. But both teams have had good stretches where they've looked to be in complete control, and, you know, it's been very back and forth the entire time. Tough shot from distance. Sarah Wolf, and it goes over the goal. Goes wide of the goal, and it'll be a goal kick for the Cougars.
And if you're a basketball fan, don't forget that we'll have live coverage of basketball from around the country in March coming up next weekend as we hit the section and state championships. March Madness will reign around California and beyond as we bring your action from one end of the country to the other. Join us in March for championship basketball coverage brought to you by your destination for high school sports, playonsports.com.
Hard to believe that March is right around the corner. 1 week from
Really
tonight is already March.
It's, yeah,
February,
very quickly.
the quickest month on the calendar. And already next week we're into March. Friday night we're going to have championships from 7 different sections around the state of California on that Friday. Then Saturday we'll be in 8 sections covering championship basketball. We'll be doing regional soccer the next week. And then 2 weeks later, it'll be the state basketball championship. So the next month, we'll have a ton of action here on playonsports.com from California and beyond. So if you're a fan of high school sports, you know where you can find it. Out of bounds, last touch by the Golden Bears. Again, that was Lupita Chavez trying to push the tempo. Gotta like her speed and, you know, her idea of trying to get something going here. She knows one goal could be enough here tonight, so trying to push the tempo as best she can. 28.5 minutes left to play here in the second half of the Division VI Girls Valley Championship. Brian Vilvin and Amanda McCord bringing you the action from McFarland High School. Megan Coffey, our videographer. On a beautiful, crisp night here just north of Bakersfield in McFarland, California. Easy enough for us to say a beautiful, crisp night when we're in this press box here. The fans out in the cold. The players on the field, they got no problem with it. It's perfect playing weather.
Yeah, nice and dry.
Ball still loose around midfield. Neither team able to really get a handle on it here. And that dry does make a difference. At night, you know, you're running around, you're sweating.
Yeah, not only does it make a difference to the players, but it also makes a difference on how the ball travels. You know, the wetter the field, the slicker the field becomes, the quicker the ball moves, and the more the almost imperfections and divots of the field are kind of accentuated. And so with this dry climate, the ball is going to go. It's much more likely anyway to go where the girl wants it to go, as opposed to kind of being at the mercy of the elements, as it were.
A little fair, you're getting a more fair representation of what's actually happening out on the field then.
Yes, as opposed to just the ball slipping and sliding.
Yeah, well, that's perfect for a championship. You never want it to be because of the elements, and so right now the ball is going where it's kicked, and that's how it should be. A perfect night for a championship. And like we said, we've got 12 of them happening here today. 1 already concluded up at Buchanan, and 11 happening as we speak. So get over to the Central section link on playonsports.com and pick the game of your choice. But if I wouldn't go anywhere right now. We got one of the best ones for sure. This one's been back and forth all game long. We've got 25 minutes left to determine a champion. Still no score, but a lot of opportunities for both of these sides. The ball being played by McFarland. That time they tried to slow down the tempo again, but left a little bit of an opening for Sierra Pacific.
And I think that's where you kind of see the lack of experience by McFarland as far as, you know, not only does Sierra Pacific have the experience on this big of a stage, but they also have experience with this style of play. And so McFarland, even though they're doing a great job adjusting,
as Lupita Chavez takes another run over the left-hand side, loses the handle, tries to keep it in play, and does. Still alive for McFarland. Out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for the Cougars. Chavez, gotta love it. Every time she touches the ball, something exciting happens.
yeah, between her and Anna Ortega, you got to know that if
Shot on goal by Amelia Lopez, but it's defended away. Great opportunity there again. Sorry, Amanda.
No, that's okay. I was going to say, if you got to know that if a goal's coming from McFarland, one of those two, if not both of them, have got to be involved.
Going to have their hand on it. Corner kick coming up for the Cougars. The best scoring opportunity of the day so far for McFarland. It's going to be placed into play by Jasmine Rivera. Crossed off the bar. She nearly snuck that one in. Doing her best David Beckham impression. Excuse me, that was Anna Ortega again. Got to give credit where it's due. That ball off the goal kick, kicked directly out of bounds. A mistake by Sierra Pacific, as McFarland's going to have it deep in Golden Bear territory once again.
Dangerous position here for Sierra Pacific, as McFarland looks to be ready to take advantage of, you know, so far there haven't really been any mistakes in this game, but in a game this close and with this much heat and this much aggression, a mistake could be, you know, the difference.
Well, we will see, and yeah, I got to imagine that is going to be the case here with still no score and maybe one goal being the difference. Ball still free in front of the net. But Sierra Pacific will have it.
Yeah, not only one goal, but, you know, sometimes you see a team beat another team, and there's no doubt that they outplayed them and, you know, that night were the better team that deserved the win. But tonight, based on the caliber of the caliber these teams are playing at, I've got to believe that, you know, if this game, the goal is going to almost be off of a mistake as opposed to an outplay.
Well, especially with the quality of both of these goaltenders.
Yep.
You got to think it's going to take a weird bounce one way or the other to actually sneak something by these two. 23 minutes left to play here in the second half. Still no score for McFarland High School in McFarland, California. But if somebody scores here in the next 22 and a half minutes, but, you know, you think that just one goal is going to be the difference, and then all of a sudden they go on a barrage and everybody starts scoring, and we got 2 or 3 before it's over. So we like to think that that one might be enough, but who knows? If one ball sneaks past the goalkeeper, that could spark things. Strong shot hit off the football post, but did not count here as the soccer goal out a few yards, about 10 yards in front of the football crossbar. So McFarland surviving that one. They'll have a goal kick here by Betsy Gonzalez. 22 minutes left to play here in the second half. And what has been an exciting Central Section Division 6 championship. A Valley title on the line. They like to call it here in the Central Section. McFarland has never played for a Valley championship in their girls soccer program. In the 15 years of the program, they've got a run here left sideline. Jasmine Rivera is going to lead it. She's got Luz Vega with her, and it's cleared away. Nicely done. Stepping in, Alexis Mello flying through. We had a collision there, but it looks like Mello and Rivera are both okay. But McFarland's going to keep the ball deep in Golden Bear territory.
Yet again, this half seems like we're calling McFarland deep into the Golden Bear territory quite a bit.
Well, the first 20 minutes was mostly the ball still free in front of the net. It's knocked out of bounds. The officials say that it's going to be a goal kick. The crowd disagrees, but it'll be Sierra Pacific's ball. The first 20 minutes seem to be mostly deep in McFarland territory. Sierra Pacific controlling the pace. From that point, it seems like McFarland has dictated the tempo. So it has been back and forth, but we've got 20 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. We're going to have our first card of the game, and it's going to be a yellow card against Amelia Lopez.
Yeah, and McFarland is known for their aggression, and a couple of the fans told me before the game that some of the girls do like to push that aggression a little bit, maybe get that yellow card, but never to the point of getting kicked out. They're smart with their physicality, and they're smart with their aggressiveness, so that, you know, you don't want to let your physicality ever affect the team's play. And a red card going down a man, that would be something that would just be devastating for either team.
And that could be the type of thing that we look at and say, oh, that was the difference. So in a game like this, especially with just 19 minutes and 40 seconds left to play here in the second half, you can't be going down a player, especially someone of the caliber of the super sophomore Amelia Lopez. We've got another card on the other side. This time it's Jasmine Wyatt who collects a yellow. So the cards are flying out right now.
And excuse me, Jasmine Wyatt was the one who was asking for the card on Amelia Lopez, who got the card about 20 seconds ago. So, you know, it sounds like she was arguing her case still, and she should have probably just quit once she got it.
Yeah, you try to argue to get a red card for the other team. Instead, you pick up a yellow yourself. So maybe a little bit of over-aggression, and now we've seen one of those plays by both of these teams. We talked about the lack of chippiness. You know, they were both playing good, hard soccer, but nobody had gotten carried away and, you know, almost like fighting out there. But, you know, the closer we get toward 0 minutes here in the second half and the fact that we're still tied, we might see a little bit of that change.
Definitely, and I feel like once Amelia and Jasmine are allowed back on the field, that's really when you're going to have to watch for it, because these two, now you know, have a bit of a history.
Back onto the field is Amelia Lopez.
And Jasmine coming in from the other side.
Gotta love that. First stoppage of play, both players get right back on the field. Ready to duke it out once again. The throw-in by Lupita Chavez, knocked out of bounds, and they say that it last went off of Jasmine Rivera. So it'll be thrown in on this side by Taylor Champlin and Sierra Pacific. Nice play there to keep possession of the ball. That was Marlena Miller. Played it right off of the leg of the Cougar defender. And now Sierra Pacific has a chance. 17.5 minutes left to play in the second half, deep in McFarland territory.
Yeah, smart play there.
Miller throws it in, headed toward the goal. Still free out in front. That's Brazil. She's already had one great look at the goal. And it's cleared away. Nice job coming in. Daisy Ramos clearing it for the Cougars.
And like you said, as the clock gets closer to 0 and the emotions start getting higher, it's smart plays like the one you saw there to keep the ball in Golden Bear possession that are really going to come into play.
Miller nearly loses the handle. She is going to lose the handle on Lupita Chavez. Again, starts a break. Deflected away. The officials say it'll stay with McFarland. That was Courtney Moore stepping in, making a play. Jasmine Rivera will throw it in for McFarland. So how quickly the mo can change here in soccer, especially in the final 16.5 minutes of a championship.
Keep in mind that McFarland has never won against the Golden Bears. They're 0-6 in program history. So you know right now they're thinking they want to do everything they can to keep from repeating history.
Yeah, get that monkey off the back. And no better time to do it than in the championship game. This is the first time these teams have met this year. They met each other a number of times last year with Sierra Pacific winning all those battles. So McFarland looking to knock off the powerful Golden Bears, like you said, for the first time ever. They've got just under 16 minutes left here in the second half to try to get it done in regulation. Ball still loose in front of the goal. Both teams fighting for it. We've got 3 players from the McFarland side, 4 from the Sierra Pacific side, and McFarland comes away with the ball. They're trying to get across. Great play, and a shot across, and long, but a great opportunity there. Fancy footwork. I think that was Amelia Lopez. She comes up a little bit slow, and now is going down to either retie her shoe or get something going, but Lopez dribbled through 2 defenders and nearly had a shot on the goal.
Yeah, great cross, too.
15 minutes left in the second half. Still no score for McFarland High School. The Cougars will have the ball on the far sideline. Stolen away by the Golden Bears. Try to make a push. Instead, Cassandra Lopez stops the pace of that one. The officials say that ball was handballed by Jesse Brazil, or out of bounds, excuse me, and it goes back to the Cougars. "14 minutes left to play in the second half. Will either team score in regulation? The ball crosses midfield, cleared away nicely by Ashley Mendez. Nice to see Ashley Mendez back out on the field after an earlier injury. Ball pushed up. They're trying to get it to Lupita Chavez. It's free in front of the net. Luz Vega was also right there, but it's cleared away by Sierra Pacific.
Yeah, Chavez seems to be all over that back 4 for the Sierra Pacific team. They just cannot control her.
Well, Sierra Pacific said they'd put their back 4 up against anybody in the state, but I think Lupita Chavez is right there in terms of quickness. She's all over the place. Strong kick there toward the goal. From distance, Amelia Lopez had a run at it, but it was saved away nicely by the Golden Bears, who cleared out of bounds right back to McFarland. But another good opportunity there for McFarland, and the Cougars continue to get the good looks here in the second half.
That's the second time Sierra Pacific's goalkeeper has taken the goal kick and kicked it right out of bounds. So, again, you know, those mistakes.
Something to look at, yeah.
Those mistakes could end up costing him if McFarland scores on a counter.
12 minutes, 40 seconds left to play here in the second half. Still no score from McFarland High School in the Division VI Girls Central Section Championship game. Ball free out in front of the goal. Kept alive. This is going to be Amelia Lopez trying to shoot from outside of the box. Instead, it's knocked away by Sierra Pacific, still loose out in front of the goal. McFarland's going to try to keep it down here in the zone, which they do. Nice pass over the left-hand side to Jasmine Rivera. Rivera looking for a cross, which she gets to Luz Vega. Ball still free in front of the goal, cleared away by Sierra Pacific, but it's still controlled by McFarland now. That's Anna Ortega in front of the goal. Now Lupita Chavez, and it'll be knocked out of bounds by Sierra Pacific. That was the best opportunity for a goal as the ball was hanging out in front of the net with nobody touching it. McFarland missing out on a golden opportunity there.
Yeah, and it looks like Sierra Pacific's goalkeeper is a little shooken up after that play. Were Sierra Pacific to lose that goalkeeper or even have her, you know, not at 100%, that could be the difference. She was nominated last year as the East Sequoia Defensive Player of the Year. And get this, it was McFarland's coach who nominated her. He was the one who said that this goalkeeper is the difference between you and us.
Well, that's a big compliment for an opposing coach to give to a player, especially a player that he's going to face in the championship. So big time stuff out of the out of the McFarland coach, Martin Campos Gutierrez, and Alejandrina Campos Gutierrez as well.
some time being taken on the field. But it looks like McFarland's going to have the throw in here at about third of the way down the field.
The Cougars get the ball crossed. I believe we're going to have, a push-off underneath, and I think they got Lupita Chavez there on the push. So Sierra Pacific will get the ball back. The goalkeeper for Sierra Pacific, Brianna Anaya, getting the praise from the McFarland side. Wearing jersey number 0 in the goal. That blue uniform. McFarland trying to push the tempo here again. Amelia Lopez seems to be leading most of these breaks. Lupita Chavez now going to try to get across here. Again, the entire second half, it seems, has been played in the Sierra Pacific side.
And it seems Lupita Chavez is the one who's leading the charge.
Definitely making a lot of plays and touching the ball along with Amelia Lopez here in the second half for the Cougars. The first half we saw a whole lot of Ana Ortega, and here in the second half it's been a lot of Lopez and Chavez. I think we're going to have a corner kick here as that ball was knocked out of bounds by Anaya.
Late call there by the ref, but you're right, definitely Brianna Anaya knocked it out of bounds as she was trying to defend the attack from McFarland.
So we're going to have a corner kick here. Strong cross, ball free in front of the net. It was last touched. I believe it was last touched by the Golden Bears. The officials say otherwise.
I saw what you saw, Brian, but our opinion doesn't matter. So.
And you like to see that McFarland, they saw the call, they realized it wasn't going to go their way, and rather than complain about it, they just got back on D.
Yep. Because remember, even though they're on defense, they're still deep into Golden Bear territory, so that's fine with them.
Yeah, they want to try to get that ball back quickly here on the other end. Still no score here with just over 8 minutes left to play in the second half in what's been a very exciting Division VI Girls Valley Championship. Ball cleared toward midfield, and it's headed out of bounds. Nice job by Ariana Morales stepping in and knocking that ball out of bounds. It's going to be a throw-in for Ana Ortega. She's got the captain's badge on her left arm. And the co-captain, the sophomore Amelia Lopez, again dribbles through two defenders. That's the second time we've seen her do that here in the second half. Impressive ball control by Lopez, and we see why the forward midfielder, the sophomore, is one of the co-captains of this team as just a sophomore with her ball control and just able to move the ball up the field, give her team scoring opportunities.
Yeah, some impressive technical skills.
That ball goes out of bounds. Knocked that way by McFarland, so Sierra Pacific will have it. Still back in the Sierra Pacific zone, and McFarland gets ahead on that throw-in. So the ball's still loose around midfield. It's going to be controlled by the Cougars. Play on, say the officials. Courtney Moore coming in and making a nice play on the ball, but it's stolen back by the Cougars. Foul around midfield on the Golden Bears. 6.5 minutes left to play here in the second half. McFarland will have the ball just across midfield in a second half that's been all Cougars. The first half was a lot of Sierra Pacific. The second half has been a lot of McFarland. But the score is still 0-0. So anything can happen. 6 minutes left to play here in the second half. Ball still loose in front of the goal. Kept alive. Samantha Ortiz over to the far side. Nearly cleared away, but Ana Ortega's right there to put it back into the zone. In front of the net, Amelia Lopez has got a shot, and she scores! Amelia Lopez found an opening and got the ball by the Sierra Pacific defense, and the McFarland Cougars have a 1-0 lead.
Wow, and all night we've been saying that they're going to have to push it slowly, and finally it worked where they pushed it slowly, and then sent the ball in to where the back four of the Golden Bears just didn't have time to react to it. But one of the things about soccer, one of the fundamental skills any soccer coach, or lesson, I guess, game lesson, any soccer coach is going to teach his players is that the 2 minutes following a goal are the most dangerous for either team for another scoring penalty, or for another score to happen. You have the team that just got scored on, ready to take vengeance immediately, but you also have the team who just scored, ready to do it again. So these next couple minutes after a score, normally a lot more heated than the ones prior to it.
Well, we said it might be one goal that's the difference, or there may be 2 or 3 goals scored on the barrage right after that one. So this is the critical time here, critical juncture in this game, as Amelia Lopez trying to make some more plays here. Lopez had 2 shots on goal already in the second half that were just off the mark, one off the side crossbar, and then that one into the back of the net, taking full advantage of a one-on-one opportunity with Brianna Anaya. And McFarland's on the board.
And with about 4 minutes left in this game, McFarland's now, now really slowing the pace down as far as the as far as just sending the ball in the boots, just taking all the time they can off the clock, even if it means that they're chasing the ball off the field.
Well, this place will erupt if the Cougars are able to hang on to this 1-0 lead. A packed house here on the McFarland side, hoping to bring their Cougars their first ever Central Section girls soccer championship.
And trying to break a 6-game history losing streak against these Golden Bears.
That would be something in itself.
Yeah.
So a couple of streaks on the line here for the McFarland Cougars if they can hold on in the last 3:33 here in the second half. Ball cleared away by the Golden Bears. Cleared away there by Taylor Champlin.
You even hear it sounds like the entire McFarland football team is right in front of us, and you hear them giving their suggestions of take your time, take your time. But remember, the last 2 minutes of the game, the clock stops at 2 minutes, and it becomes stoppage time, like you said at the first half, where it's the referee's call as to how long this game will go. And there have been a couple of injuries, a couple of downtimes, a couple of penalties, so you have to imagine that it's going to be a few minutes. So McFarland's not by any means out of the woods yet or has his championship in the bag.
Yeah, we're just a minute away from that moment when stoppage time will begin. Ball out in front of the McFarland goal. Still a loose ball. Last touched by Marlena Miller and out of bounds. Back to the Cougars. That was a big-time opportunity there for Sierra Pacific. Instead, they lose the ball. Now it goes way out on the sideline, and McFarland going to take their time to go over and get to that one.
Don't forget to stay tuned for the PlayOnSports.com post-game show, where we will select our player of the game and possibly have a live interview with that player coming up following the game on your destination for high school sports, PlayOnSports.com.
Just over 2 minutes left to play. We're almost to that stoppage time mark. We're going to have a goal kick here, and we are into stoppage time. So the McFarland Cougars are just minutes away if they can hold on from their first ever section soccer championship. But Sierra Pacific's got an opportunity here. They get the ball out toward the goal, but it's picked up there by Betsy Gonzalez. Gonzalez with the handle on it. Late in the second half here, the clock is off. As soon as the official gives the 3 blows of the whistle, this one will be in the books. Sierra Pacific looking to tie the score before we get to that point. McFarland looking to push it the other way, maybe get another goal to seal the deal here. Amelia Lopez will have it near midfield, and it's cleared out of bounds to Sierra Pacific. The fans on edge here. Ball still loose around midfield. Now being pushed by the Golden Bears. Raquel Castro And it's going to be a handball against McFarland. So Sierra Pacific, if they're going to score, this is the golden opportunity here. They've got to get a goal to try to head this thing to overtime. That'll be Taylor Champlin taking the free kick from just outside the McFarland box in stoppage time. Strong cross in front of the goal, nearly in, but it goes wide of the target. Betsy Gonzalez was right on top of that one, but nearly coming in to knock the ball in was Amber Mendez, fly into the scene.
Way too close for those McFarland Cougars right now. They're definitely breathing a sigh of relief. That was another one of those balls. We saw another one in the first half where it just seems like it flies past.
And the officials blow the whistle. This game is over, and the McFarland Cougars are the Central Section Division VI Girls Soccer Champions for the first time in program history. The Campos Gutierrez coaching staff has got to be ecstatic, and their girls are Valley champions for the first time ever with a 1-0 victory over the Sierra Pacific Golden Bears in what was a hard-fought battle by both sides. Amelia Lopez with the game-winning goal with under 5 minutes left to play in the second half. One goal did decide this one. And a fitting way for it to end for McFarland, the way they played the end of that first half and then the entire second half. The Cougars really dictated the tempo, and they walk away as Valley champions here in Division VI.
Yeah, definitely just, we saw the entire town out here tonight for this small of a town. And, Friday night under the lights, first championship. Huge winning season going against a team that you've lost to 6 times. 6 times. That's a bitter taste.
Yeah.
So even if that alone would have been enough for extreme celebration tonight, but to win the Valley Championship in addition to that, and I think they get the bid in the LA tournament for the state stuff. That's just, just every underdog's story.
Yeah, pretty cool for the McFarland Cougars. And what's been almost a Cinderella type of season. The girls,
Yeah.
the 4 seniors on this team, we talked about it before, when they were freshmen, the team only won 4 games. So to go from being on a team that just won a handful of games to now being the section champions with their 17th victory on the season. And like you said, they'll move on to the regional tournament and have a chance to pick up some more wins on what's been a record-breaking year for the McFarland Cougars program. And I can't imagine what's going through those girls' minds right now.
No, but we can't say enough either about the coaching duo of Alejandrina and Martin Campos Gutierrez. They have just completely revitalized this program. Martin told us before the game just how much he loved women's soccer and how much he wanted his wife shared his passion, and that they've loved these last 3 years here. And for him to come full circle from being a senior the first year that this women's soccer program was underway to now being the coach of their first Valley Championship, that is just, you want to talk about another Cinderella story. There's just too many Disney-type storylines for one game, it seems like.
It is a pretty remarkable run for the Cougars. And we'll name our player of the game, and I think there's no doubt about it that it would be Amelia Lopez, the sophomore captain of this team, with the deciding goal, the lone goal here. She had 3 shots on goal in the second half. The third one found the back of the net, and it wasn't an easy shot. She had an opening with the, a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, but there were bodies flying all around. She ended up going to the ground for that final goal, but a fitting way for it to end. Amelia Lopez, our player of the game, and just a remarkable run here for the Cougars.
Yeah, fantastic job by all the Cougars, honestly. And the Golden Bears were stiff competition. They didn't come in here and run over Sierra Pacific at all. Sierra Pacific came in here and did almost everything they said they would do, except that final goal at the end, and that, they tried to control the tempo of the game. They kept the speed on the back 4. McFarland couldn't do anything against that back 4 almost the entire game. And, but that's, again, the nature of the beast with soccer, is that it could just be one mistake, one moment, one tiny little, harder push or, what a bigger emotion, whatever it is, and that could decide the game. It's not a game of inches like it is in football or a game of balls and strikes like baseball. It's a game of, one shot, and that's it.
Yeah. And tough to go on the road as well in a setting like this, especially with the McFarland crowd. They were like a 12th player out there. They were a huge impact out here. And, again, a huge crowd. They've got their section championship hats out there. They got the celebration going.
Yep.
The girls, this team really has bonded together. And it's a young team for McFarland.
Yeah.
So you got to look at the future and think that it's very bright for this Cougar program. Coming off of a championship this year, and they've got a lot of people, a lot of bodies coming back for another run at it in a year.
Yeah, and one of what the coaches told me before the game is that they lost 2 seniors from last year, but even though, they don't want to diminish the impact that those seniors had last season, but they said they gained 3 starters, and that 2 of them were freshmen, so that's huge for 2 seniors or 2 freshmen to take the place of 2 seniors. I mean, that's something you don't see every day. And, we talked about how there isn't a JV program at this school, and that kind of makes it so that, some of the girls don't play quite as much, but, geez, it gives the opportunity to some freshmen who wouldn't even be looked at just based on class alone for the varsity squad to not only make the team, but also come out here and shine. It's unreal.
Well, folks, that's going to wrap it up from McFarland High School, where the McFarland Cougars have defeated the Sierra Pacific Golden Bears 1-0. We'd like to thank you for joining PlayOnSports.com's coverage of the Central Section Soccer Championships from McFarland, California. Be sure to check PlayOnSports.com for information and links to all of our upcoming broadcasts. For our videographer, Megan Coffey, and my partner, Amanda McCord, I'm Brian Vilvin saying so long, and we hope you'll join us next time on PlayOnSports.com. High school sports lives here.